So my presentation today is cardiac disorders associated with cannabis. Uh, Introduction. The leisure intake of cannabis has increased in the past years, corresponding with its decriminalization and legalization. The natural cannabis has been substituted by synthetic cannabinoids and cannabimimetics in several formulae which are stronger. Tolerance to the properties of cannabis can develop on repetitive contact due to receptor desensitization. Effects of cannabis may be heightened or transformed by affiliated use of other illicit drugs or drug treatment indicated for treatment of cardiovascular diseases. Nonetheless, the recent cannabis epidemic would significantly increase the worldwide problem of cardiovascular disease. Marijuana plant known as Cannabis sativa was cultivated in Central Asia and later transported to other parts of the world. Cannabis grows naturally in many countries and is also cultivated inside using hydroponic systems and non-natural lighting. The plant has been used as a medicinal herb or as a mood-altering substance. A rise in recreational use of cannabis has paralleled that of legislations that have legalized or decriminalized the possession, sales, and cultivation of the plant. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, the global recreational use of cannabis increased by 27% from 1998 to 2009. In 2014, it was estimated that 183 million people use cannabis worldwide, with a steady rise since 2007. Cannabis is the most frequently used psychoactive substance after alcohol and tobacco. The recreational cannabis epidemic is accompanied by an elevated number of case reports of grave cardiovascular complications. Types of cannabis, it comes in two types, natural and synthetic forms. Three naturally growing strains of cannabis are sativa, indica, and ruderalis. Breeding has formed cross strains of the plants. These strains diverge in the amount of two best recognized active ingredients, namely D-tetrahydrocannabinol, which is the THC, and the second one is cannabidiol, which is CBD. The properties of various cannabis strains may fluctuate based on the variable concentration of terpene resins. The sativa strain contains the maximal level of THC, which is a psychoactive cannabinoid that produces the euphoric effect and has lower content of CBD, the cannabinoid that may alleviate the euphoric and psychotropic effects of THC. The leaves and buds of the female plants have the highest concentration of this THC and can be dried for smoking or made into other preparations of consumable cannabis, including edibles, waxes, oils, liquid incense, or vapor for both medical and recreational uses. Medically, cannabis has been used to treat refractory nausea and vomiting following chemotherapy and neuropathic pain due to advanced neurological disorders and cancers. In the United States of America, cannabis is still listed by the Drug Enforcement Administration as Schedule I substance alongside hallucinogens and heroin, according to the Section 202 of the Controlled Substance Act of 1970. Schedule I drugs are substances with heightened potential for abuse, no currently well-known medical use, and no recognized care for use under medical supervision. Despite this, 42 states and the District of Columbia have either legalized or decriminalized medical uses of cannabis and related approved medications. A significant deliberation in the use of cannabis has been the randomness of the dosage of the active constituents of the artificially prepared forms. Comparable quantities of dried leaves, flowers, waxes, oils, or ingestible systems of cannabis could compromise immensely dissimilar amounts of active mixtures. The method of intake can impact the absorption, bioavailability, and blood levels of the active mixtures. The plasma THC concentration and medical effects were alike after smoking an intravenous injection, whereas ingestion caused smaller, deferred, and lower peak plasma THC concentration in a study of healthy volunteers. The possible physiologic effects of THC are also affected by concomitant use of alcohol intake, nicotine intake, and other illicit drugs. It is very essential to regulate the shelf life, bioavailability, dose range of the active compounds comprised in natural derivatives of medical cannabis preparations. Nabiximols, a botanical metered dose oral spray that contains both THC and CBD, has been approved in several countries for treatment of spasticity, pain, and urinary dysfunction in multiple sclerosis. Synthetic cannabis, which are cannabinoids and cannabimimetics. Synthetic THC compounds, which are dronabinol and nabilone, are available in capsule forms in the United States since 1985 for the treatment of nausea, vomiting, and weight loss associated with cancer, chemotherapy, and acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. A liquid form of dronabinol has also been approved for the above indication. Illicit production of synthetic cannabinoids and cannabimimetics is utilized for recreational use. Given the advanced strength, it is more appealing to the users and traditional drug screening tests, which are unable to categorize them. These constituents include a family of more than 700 synthetic compounds manufactured with chemical alterations of THC to augment the affinity for cannabinoid receptors and intensify the length of action. Synthetic cannabinoids are squirted into dried leaves and marketed under various names, including Spice 11. The effects of cannabinoid on the cardiovascular system. Cannabis acts through the interaction of THC with the endocannabinoid system, an endogenous signaling network involved in a wide range of processes, including immunity, endothelial function, inflammation, and metabolism. Two G protein coupled membrane cannabinoid receptors, CBR1 and CBR2, are recognized. CBR1 is extensively expressed within the central, peripheral sensory, and autonomic nervous system and is the primary target of THC. A significant proportion of cardiovascular effects of cannabinoids are thus mediated through the activation of the sympathetic nervous system as well as the inhibition of the parasympathetic autonomic nervous system. Smoking cannabis results in an immediate increase in the heart rate, followed by a rise in serum norepinephrine levels at 30 minutes. Further support for the role of CBR1 mediated modulation of the autonomic nervous system in the chronotropic response to exogenous cannabinoids is provided by studies that have demonstrated effectiveness of pre-treatment with propranolol, atropine, and rimonabant, which is an inverse agonist of CBR1 in preventing such a response. Inhibition of the parasympathetic activity is suggested by an exaggerated heart rate response to atropine following cannabis smoking. Acute exposure to cannabis may also result in elevation of supine systolic blood pressure and may induce atrial fibrillation. Smoking cannabis can reduce the oxygen delivery to the heart and other vital organs by an elevation in blood carboxyhemoglobin levels and impaired myocardial oxygen demand to supply ratio. Cannabis is believed predominantly to cause an acute vasodilatory response, possibly through activation of transient receptor potential acrenin type 1 ion channels on perivascular sensory neurons, but the arteriolar vasodilation is not universal to all vascular beds, as vasoconstriction has also been seen in the coronary, cerebral, and peripheral arterial systems. Cannabis users with cardiovascular emergencies are young and frequently have no other risk factors for cardiovascular diseases. The cardiovascular complication rate rose from 1.1% in 2006 to 3.6% in 2010, and the mortality rate from those complications was 25%. Rising fears have led researchers to call for a registry in the United States, like the efforts of the Fred Addictovigilance Network. The most reported cardiovascular complications of cannabis use has ranged from acute coronary syndrome to cardiac arrhythmias, stroke, peripheral arteriopathy, stress, cardiomyopathy, and sudden death. Although these adverse effects are primarily reported in recreational users, cases have been observed those using cannabis for medically approved reasons. Excuse me. Acute myocardial cardiovascular complications are acute MI, left ventricular cardiomyopathy, arrhythmias, and sudden cardiac death, cerebrovascular syndrome, and vasculopathy. The risk of AMI increases nearly 5-fold with an hour of exposure to cannabis. Sorry. The risk of AMI increases nearly 5-fold with an hour of exposure to cannabis compared to non-users. Many case reports have temporarily linked cannabis users to the development of AMI. Frequently, cannabis users presenting with AMI have been young men with no pre-existing coronary artery disease and have had normal coronary angiograms. In general, AMI in cannabis users is linked with higher short-term mortality as there is a delay in procuring medical attention in young individuals with impaired judgment due to drug use or due to the analgesic effect of cannabis that may disguise the symptoms. Toxicology in such cases may often be positive for cannabis only, although routine urine toxicology may be negative in those using synthetic cannabinoids. The latter may have led to a significant underestimation of the cannabinoid-associated AMI in the young. Marijuana caused increased myocardial oxygen demand, reduced oxygen supply, and acts as a procoagulant. Microvascular coronary artery spasm without atherosclerotic coronary artery disease has been described. Left ventricular cardiomyopathy. The endocannabinoid system is implicated in myocardial stunning associated with acute neurological events, Takotsubo's or stress cardiomyopathy, sepsis, and the hemorrhagic shock. Cannabinoids are also known to reduce the myocardial contractility through CBR1 mediated effects. Myocardial dysfunction may also result from persistent tachycardia, AFib, or induction of ischemia in those with pre-existing CAD. The catecholamine rush may be largely responsible for the association. Endogenous cannabinoids have a CBR1 mediated negative inotropic effect on cardiac muscle, and inhibition of CBR1 with rimonabant results in prevention of myocardial dysfunction and myocyte apoptosis after exposure to doxorubicin. It should be noted that the presence of pre-existing myocardial dysfunction may particularly predispose individuals to deterioration of left ventricular systolic function, particularly with the use of potent synthetic cannabinoids. Arrhythmias and sudden cardiac death. Rhythm disturbances range from sinus tachycardia to ectopic atrial or ventricular rhythms and atrial or ventricular fibrillation in cannabis users, the pathophysiology being a hyperadrenergic state. Myocardial ischemia caused by microvascular spasm, AMI, or pre-existing CAD may accompany serious ventricular arrhythmias and may result in dizziness, syncope, cardiac arrest, or sudden cardiac death. Increased incidence of atrial fibrillation in the younger, less than 50 years old individuals and recurrence may occur upon repeated cannabis exposure. Cerebrovascular syndrome. Neurological indications were the most common reasons for hospitalization of cannabis users in the French healthcare facilities from 2004 to 2007. In a study of young individuals admitted with stroke and substance abuse, cannabis was linked with ischemic but not hemorrhagic events, while amphetamines were related to predominantly hemorrhagic events. Comparable outcomes were reported from the United States nationwide inpatient sample. Cannabis use was found to be an independent predictor of acute stroke and associated with a 2.26-fold increased likelihood of hospitalization with acute ischemic stroke among those aged 25 to 34 years. The ischemic stroke showed a predilection of almost 53% for the posterior cerebral circulation. The principal mechanism of stroke was noted to be reversible cerebrovascular spasm, which is called as RCVS. So RCVS is characterized by severe headache, often associated with a nausea, vomiting, photophobia, confusion, and blurred vision, and a string and beads appearance of cerebral arteries on angiography. In a prospective study of 67 consecutive patients with angiography confirmed RCVS, 32% showed positive toxicology for cannabis. Another prospective study of acute ischemic stroke, multifocal narrowing of cerebral arteries, mostly in the posterior circulation, was vastly predictive of cannabis use. Reversibility of cerebral vasoconstriction has been demonstrated by angiography within the days to months after cessation of cannabis use. Vasculopathy. Cannabis vasculopathy is clinically inseparable from thromboangiitis obliterans, but tends to occur at an earlier age. The typical angiographic appearance is that of segmental narrowing of distal arteries with minimal, if any, collateral vessels. Subacute and progressive ischemia of upper and lower extremities affected by the arteritis may then lead to serious complications, including tissue necrosis and gangrene, with worsening during periods of excessive cannabis use. Other vascular problems of cannabis use have included migratory thrombophlebitis, renal artery dissection, and central retinal vein occlusion. Conclusion: cannabis use has increased in epidemic proportions. Extremely strong and unregulated synthetic cannabinoids and cannabimimetics has made the arena difficult. Cardiovascular symptoms have been occurring at a startling rate in users of cannabis and its related chemicals. Grave illness has occurred in young adults who are profound users of these compounds due to wrong belief of them being safer and swift decriminalization and legalization processes in the various states. Studies are greatly required in this expanse. The current data should make physicians and legislators aware across the globe of potentially hazardous effects of unregulated use of cannabis. Thank you. Any
Thank you very
questions?
much, Dr. Deepti, for your presentation and also for your presentation on sarcoidosis yesterday. Does anyone have any questions? I'd like to open the floor to any questions for Dr. Deepti.